Green is the new gold. Our 18-hole Nicklaus design, award-winning golf course and clubhouse will leave you green with envy. We don't just say, we do. It's the Stain City way.
Good afternoon and welcome and a happy Workers' Day to you. We, on the other hand, are still hard at work here on Real Talk to keep you entertained. So thank you for tuning in on the channel where the stage is yours. This is Real Talk with me on SABC3. So my guest today grew up with dreams as big as the iconic and colossal hole that is as famous in her hometown of Kimberley. After a brief stint competing and winning beauty pageants, her passion would extend into the entertainment industry. Since then, she's gone on to star in many greater telenovela, including Rockville and The Road. She's also starred in a film or two. Actress, model, businesswoman, and philanthropist. Woo, that's a mouthful. Please help me welcome the astoundingly gorgeous Zoe's mom, Mrs. Boogalove, Gail Mabalane.
Nice intro.
Dude, the way I said Zoe, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like you forget sometimes. Don't you forget that you're a mom sometimes?
Yes, and then someone's like,
I like, yeah,
like,
it's like, oh, by the way. When you said it, her face just, I just imagined her face, and I was like, wow, actually,
okay,
I'm
so
a mom.
Speaking of faces,
Yes.
if we had to be in the World Cup, of like beauty against other countries.
Okay.
So if we had to like pick like top 5, so you're there. I think I'd throw Kema Wisa in.
Wow.
Then I'd throw like Minnie.
Yes.
Jerry Elton.
Yes, yes,
I miss his
yes.
name. Mark Alex's ex-wife.
Yes.
Kanye Lomo.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yes. But you're in the starting lineup.
Wow.
You know, some people are warming up the bench, but you like our Ronaldo.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, that is hectic. That's intense to take in, and I think it's intense because I hope that one day when I'm no longer around that people will remember me as more than that.
Of course they will.
Okay.
But I mean, the PR doesn't help. Like, put it this
Wow.
way, like the rest of you is the company and the business, but the PR.
Wow.
The PR does a good
Thank you.
job.
That's very humbling, and
Oh, man.
I mean, I had nothing to do with it.
And this is the thing about looks.
Yeah.
You basically hit the genetic lottery. You know, it's just like, it's numbers and then.
Okay, because you wake up to yourself every single day, you don't see the things that people see, so you're like, this is just the way I look, and like, yeah. So yeah, it's something I don't get used to it. So every time when you say it, I'm just like, okay.
You're like, thanks. Okay,
Thank you, and I try like, okay, can we change the subject?
But now, when your husband says it, you're like, okay.
It's his job to say it. If he doesn't say it, who's supposed to say it?
You just like,
yeah, so I believe him.
Okay.
Because he's my husband, and I hope that every husband says that to their other half, you know?
That's super.
Yeah.
Speaking of belief, so you grew up in Kimberley,
Yeah.
right? Now it's a dorpy, right? And obviously there's tourists coming because the big hole is there,
Yes,
and it's all
yes.
mining and all of that. So on a certain level, you understand, you come from greatness, the town.
yeah.
But were you aware that there's a bigger city out there and there's lights and like life to be lived?
Absolutely. I've
From how
always known.
early?
I mean, my mom entered me in my first talent search, not a beauty pageant, a talent search for kiddies, Miss Tinkerbell, when I was 5. So from that age, I've always known that there's more to what I'm exposed to. And I think she's
Okay.
always drilled it in our heads as children that there's more than where you are. So a lot of people sometimes ask me, did you always know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
I did.
Because it was a choice. You know, it was a conscious decision that I don't know. I mean, I don't mind going back and enjoying my retirement in Kimberley, but I
Yeah.
know that this is not where I want to, you know, spend at least most part of my working years.
You want to have hit
was a
all the
choice.
corners of the
Yeah.
globe and then go back home.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's my hometown. I love it. But, you know, you grow.
I know. I mean, I'm from Mthatha. I love Mthatha for a
Oh.
weekend.
Yeah, you see.
He's like,
And listen, the Kimberley heat. Have you been to Kimberley?
I've been to Kimberley. Your hairstyle wouldn't last in Kimberley. It would like be lying down.
It would not last
No.
because like I live on ice blocks and it's ridiculously hot and winter is ridiculously cold. So it's very extreme. But I Kimberley. It always, every time I go home, it just, you know, it keeps me in my place. Like, just everybody there just reminds me where I come from and who I am, and it's just such a great, it's home, you know?
True.
It's home.
When did you enter Miss Teen, though?
I entered Miss Teen in my matric year, so 2001. I know I'm old, but I love
I
it.
was also in matric in 2001.
Oh, great. So, yeah.
We all together.
Yes.
Our walking sticks are sitting somewhere there. Don't worry about us.
Yeah.
So, did they come to Kimberley? Did you go to Joburg?
So
did you go to Cape Town?
You could enter either, so I think there were one of 5 provinces you could enter in, and I entered in Bloemfontein. Everything, even idols I did in Bloemfontein.
Okay.
But I entered Miss Teen in Bloemfontein, via Bloemfontein. So I sent in my pictures, and I then went for my auditions in Bloemfontein.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's an hour's drive, an hour and a half
Yeah.
from Kimberley, depending on, I mean, back then we had a very slow car with no aircon, so it was probably 2 hours.
Back then you had a Kimberley for a car.
Yes.
Slow with no aircon.
Oh, that's nice.
High
Yeah,
five,
that's
Anele.
a good one.
I know. I'm very proud of myself.
So, yeah, so a 2-hour trip, and I went for my interview there, and I made I guess I represented the province. 3 of us went through to the next round, and then that was it.
And then you made the top 5.
I did.
Who won it that year?
Sally Ann Kopa won.
Dreadlocks.
Yes, she had dreadlocks.
Yes, dreadlocks.
Yes,
brown
yes,
girl.
beautiful
Yes,
girl. Yes,
yes, I remember that.
I was heartbroken. I was like, oh
Obviously.
my gosh, my world is falling apart. This is everything I've ever worked for. You know, you do when I was 16. So when you're 16, you're like, everything I've ever wanted, this is it, and now it's not happening.
So you just saw your dreams disappear?
Literally, like right in front of my eyes. But I'm grateful it didn't happen.
Because also, think about it. I'm now putting myself on stage with you. If you're in the top 5, and they call the second princess,
Right.
and then they call the first princess,
Right. There's
so
3
up
of you.
until the end, you
Yeah.
still think you're in there.
And it was me, Minky van der Westhuizen,
No ways.
and Sally Ann Kopa. So we were like,
What a group to be lost in.
I know. And we stood there, and I remember, I mean, my family was in the audience, and obviously a lot of Kimberlites all screaming,
Yes,
Gail,
yes.
Gail. And I was like, this is it, this is it.
You already
When they-
got your
When they
speech.
didn't, I had my speech.
Your surprise look.
Everything, yes.
You're like,
I had everything down, and then when it didn't happen, I was like, wow, this is it. I quit, I give up, you know. But I'm so grateful, though.
You have to have a, you know, and this is the thing that I think is such a misconception when it comes to beauty pageants and, you know, talent shows, is that we assume that you have a healthy self-esteem.
Oh,
but
yeah.
And that's the assumption that because you're like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty, I'm gonna enter a pretty people competition and I'm gonna be amongst other pretty people and we're just gonna be pretty together. So how do you make sure that you don't take a knock that hard, that you can come back and do things after something like that happens?
I'm very grateful because I had a great support system. My mom was all about just, you know, pulling me back towards myself and reminding me. And I think it's not even so much, and I think there's a big misconception about beauty pageants. People think it's about beauty and but I've grown so much through entering beauty pageants. My
That's
self-esteem
true,
was, you know, has grown tremendously. I got just so much confidence, and I think it's really opened me up. I'm very introverted. And I'm very shy.
Okay.
You know, but when I'm on stage well, back then, I mean, I couldn't do it now. I'm not that bold. But it has really helped me to grow and to just be more assured and more certain of myself, more self-assured. And I think it's helped me grow in ways that I think if I hadn't done it, I wouldn't have grown. And it's something I would love to give to my daughter and for her to be inspired through that. That it doesn't matter whether 5 judges say you're not beautiful, you're beautiful. It doesn't matter
The
whether...
virtue that you are here
Absolutely.
means you're beautiful and you're brave and you're daring and you're bold.
Absolutely.
And also there's a certain level where you have to know a bit of current affairs when you're on there. You have to be worldly.
Yeah, you have
So
to
even
be.
if you're in Kimberley, you have to be worldly,
You
and I
have
think
to
that
be.
forces you to read
To
and
read
watch.
and be exposed to more than your immediate environment. Absolutely.
So quick one answer, your daughter, you're gonna put her in beauty pageants?
I don't know if I'll put her in. I think I'm trusting, you know, really just that gut that moms have, that you're able to see what they like and what they enjoy, and that's what. And I think my mom could see, because I have a younger sister who didn't do beauty pageants because it wasn't her thing, you know. But I think my mom could see that I've got something, or I'm interested in it in some other way, and that's why she put me in it. So I think I'm hoping that I have that, and from a young age I can encourage her and sort of steer her in the right direction. If it's politics, then that will come with prayer.
Then we're going to Parliament. That's what's going to happen. Listen, we're just getting started with my guest, actress Gail Mabalane, on Real Talk. See you on the other side of the break. And welcome back to Real Talk. So whether she's portraying a successful magazine editor, as she did in The Wild, or a sultry sex worker in Rockville, Gail Mabalane captivates through it all. But acting isn't the only skill in Gail's arsenal of talents. So 5 seasons of Idols happens. You don't enter.
Yeah.
But when you were watching, we were like, Heinz, I could take you.
No.
And then next is, Anka, I could take you too.
Not at all. Not at all. You know, Idols for me was a great opportunity. So when I was in Kimberley, I entered Idols when I think I was 24, 25.
Which also is a lot older than when people go in.
Absolutely.
Back then, I mean, I know they took the age group up now.
Yes, I think it's 30 now.
Yeah, back then, I think it was 25, wasn't it?
Yes, I think it was.
Yeah, it was,
No, when I entered, it was 30 still.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I was in Kimberley for a while, and there was a lot that had happened in my life, and that forced me to stay in Kimberley, which I did. And it was just, I felt like it's time to move on. And I've always wanted to explore opportunities. I mean, I'd done beauty pageants, I'd won Miss Kaiser Chiefs, I'd been exposed to Johannesburg, but it didn't make sense for me to just up and leave and come here and then what?
Yeah.
Now I'm here.
A plan.
And
what's my plan?
What's my plan? And I thought, maybe I should enter the singing competition and see, where it takes me. So I entered with the intention of never necessarily permanently moving back to Kimberley.
Okay.
So I entered, and from day one, I was making contacts and meeting people. And, I went in with a plan. I sat once and I calculated, if I were to have an ad on television, how much was it going to cost me for every 30 seconds, for example? And I realized that if I make it even 3 minutes on screen,
It's worth so much.
It's worth so much. So I'm going to make it count. So I met people behind the scenes. I made sure I was intentional. That's why I say when people ask, did you know that I say yes, because I chose
I
this.
was intentional.
Yeah, I was intentional.
You say that like it's in passing, but it's such an important sentence.
Absolutely.
Because you have to be intentional about who you are and what you want.
Absolutely.
I was intentional.
Yeah. So I entered Idols, obviously with the intention of winning, but if I didn't win, I was gonna make something out of it. So even when I got voted off, I did not leave Johannesburg. I phoned my uncle who lives here. Please, may I stay with you for a couple of weeks? I've just been voted off, and who knows, at least it's still fresh in people's minds, so let me stay.
I would have made him feel bad. I just got voted off because I know you didn't vote. Because if you and your friends had voted.
He voted. I know my uncle voted, him and the whole family. My dad was like the biggest cheerleader, so I'm sure they voted. But I stayed in Joburg, and I was like, this has to work. It has to work.
Who won that year?
Elvis Blue.
Oh,
yes,
what
Elvis
a
Blue,
lovely guy.
Lloyd.
Yes,
yes, top
that
2, absolutely.
group of people.
And it was a great experience.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
So I'm curious now because you said something and it sparked something. I was like, okay, put it in here, I'll come back. You win Miss Kaiser Chiefs. Does that mean Kaiser Chiefs tickets for life? Because otherwise they're wasting your time.
Well, I haven't explored it, but I'm sure if I pick up the phone and say I'd like to go to a game. In fact, they haven't crowned anyone after me. So
you are still Miss Kaiser Chiefs.
2001, I won towards the end of the year in 2001. I entered Miss Teen and then I won the end of the year. They haven't crowned anybody after me, so they haven't had a Miss Kaiser Chiefs after me. So technically, yeah,
hey, yo,
I should still be entitled to at least tickets.
Come on.
Yeah, I should be.
I'm actually going to call Jessica or Bobby Mutawang and be like, guys, Gail.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy watching the game because when I was the reigning Miss Kaiser Chiefs, I was attending a lot of games. I do enjoy the pause, get up quickly, change a nappy, feed, play, function. So watching it from home, I actually enjoy it.
How did you not become a wag if you were Miss Kaiser Chiefs and you are attending all the games?
You know what is so funny? Jessica was so protective.
Oh, good.
Because she
knows her team.
Yes. So she was so protective. So she always ensured that I stay in my lane and everybody else stay in their lanes. Not that necessarily there was any possibility of it happening or opportunity for it to happen. Well, I guess there was, but...
Babe, those men were going to the change room. They're like, yo, like, yo,
no,
blind.
Jessica was very protective, and I was too scared. I was 16, turning 17.
Oh, true, okay.
So I was like,
don't go there.
Don't go there. I'm from Kimberley, and I grew up very protected, and, so I just was too scared to make any kind of mistake.
Back on track. I'm going to get you your tickets, though.
Thank you.
I'm really going to do it. I'm invested now.
Okay.
I'm invested.
Next game. Oh, well, the next derby.
The next derby.
Yes.
We're there.
Please.
I'm just trying to get into the presidential box. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Back on track.
Yeah.
Your plan then, you live with your uncle, then what?
I live with my uncle. I've just been voted off, and you know they book. Well, you get a plane ticket back home. So I didn't take. Well, I think I drove my car up, so I had a car. So that was in the process of being repossessed, and they just didn't know that where I was. They went to my house. My dad was home. Where's this person? My dad's like, he's not here.
We don't know her.
We don't, you know, and I was in Joburg, so they couldn't find me. But so I had a car and I lived with my uncle, and a few calls came in, you know, you want to try this, interview here, interview there. And that's when, you know, they were looking around and scouting for the wild. So I literally went from getting voted off on Idols to auditioning for the wild and booking my first job.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that close together.
That close together. Yeah.
And I mean, because you weren't like a little role in the wild. You were like
which
starring.
surprised me because I was hysterical. Which surprised me because I didn't go to drama school. I had no acting experience, you know, and the fact that, you know, producers believed in me enough and in what I had to offer. And I mean, I watched some of those episodes and I cringe and I'm like, ugh.
What do you mean you cringe?
No, some of the episodes, I know that it was my first role, and I would like to.
Do you
believe
remember
that
your scene after your husband Tiro passed away and you were talking to him at the grave? And you were playing with your necklace and you were speaking in Tswana and English.
Yes, I
How do you cringe when you remember a scene? Girl, you were nailing it. I was like,
well, thank you. I just think that, you know, when I started off, I mean, all I knew was cut and action. That's all I knew. So everything I learned on the job,
But also it was a stellar cast. I think you were surrounded
cast,
by like...
Oh man, I'm so grateful.
Who's the old white guy that was Tristan and Henny's dad?
Ian Roberts, Connie Ferguson, Shona Ferguson, Dumisho Masha. I mean, I was surrounded by greatness and the most humble people that I've ever met. And I'm so grateful that that was my introduction to the industry, because it's kept me on my toes and it's kept me humble. It really has.
Oh, the wild was good, and it was shot so well, and the color was money.
I know.
It just looked like money.
It looked incredible.
I was just like,
it looked good. You wanted to watch it. I mean, I sometimes don't watch the shows that I'm on because it's just awkward. It's very awkward. I don't watch myself. But the wild, I'd watch it and the scenes when my scene comes on, I fast forward.
Yeah.
And then but it looked amazing.
So when that came to an end, we were like, yo, I'm not going to Kimberley, I'll tell you that much.
No, I was never going to.
Look at your face.
I love visiting, I love going home, but I mean, I'd started this and it had to work. What's now, you know? And I think it's really believing that this was the first door that opened. So however this door opened, I'm gonna have to keep working hard to ensure that doors continue to open. And I was surrounded by incredible people who really taught me the importance of, you know, professionalism and arriving on time and, you know, the things that the business doesn't necessarily teach you.
That you have to pick up along the way, and sometimes you pick it up after having fallen down and rub people off the wrong way.
Right. Yeah.
So that never happened to you.
I learned very early on, and I think that has been, to a degree, a saving grace. You know, and I didn't go back to Kimberley. I went back home for a bit, but I was here. And also, you know, I lost a couple of family members between Idols and that, and so I would go home to really just spend time with the family. Kimberley is home, but I was never planning on.
You were now a Joburg girl.
Yeah, basically, and I say that respectfully because I'm still a Kimberlite. Yes.
She keeps on throwing back to her people like, I haven't left you now. Don't you worry about it. Listen, after the break, we continue to chat to Gail Mabalane on life, love, career highlights, a whole lot more. Stay tuned. This is Real Talk. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us on Real Talk. In studio, Gail Mabalane, and if you're a millennial, Gail Mabalane. I know, it's Mabalane. I'm like, that is so cute.
Cousins.
You're like, okay, look at you. So who would you say makes you better at what you do?
Ooh. You know, I think it has to be my daughter.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because before then, I was inspired by a lot of people, you know, from my mom to people in the industry that have been around.
Hill. I heard you like Lauryn Hill.
I love Lauryn Hill. I'm obsessed with Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
You know, so I was inspired by a lot of people, but I mean, other than Beyonce, but we're not going to get into that now because
it will just go somewhere else.
Let's
you and I, it's another hour.
Yeah, another show altogether, couple of shows, so let's leave it. My daughter, because when she was 2 months old, I went back to work. And some people, you know, were judgmental, and some, you know, parenting it's different strokes for different folks, right?
Yeah,
So,
there's
but
no
I
DNA.
think she inspires me because I want to show her that it's possible to have it all. You can be a mom, you can be a wife, you can be a businesswoman, you can be strong, you can do all of these things. So she just inspires me to be better. And it's since she's been born that I've challenged myself more with the kind of roles I take on, with my work, with my craft, you know, everything. So I think if they ever, it has to be her.
You know, funny, I was having this conversation with my radio colleagues earlier today, and they were like, you know, how do you make sure that your child is always number one? Because everyone wants their child to be number one. And I was like, what, number one at what? Like everything? And they were like, yeah, you know, in looks, in sport, in academics, and at work. And I was like, oh, they're like, aren't you raising your child to be like that? And I was like, no, what I do know that I'm doing is I'm like that. So I don't want him to be like that. But if he watches me and sees that I want to win, I want to work hard, and I want to achieve, and he takes from that, then it's good.
Absolutely,
You know, rather than wanting
forcing
to be,
it,
you will, like, home is like a boot camp. Drop on the floor and give me 50, soldier. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I get it.
do you want her to watch your work ethic and your passion and your drive and your balance and want it?
Because that's how I got it from my mom. She didn't force anything on me, or there's a lot. I mean, my mom passed away when I was 21, and so from being born until I was 21, I watched her. And I'm a married woman now, so there's a lot of things that she didn't have the opportunity to tell me, but from watching her and from observing and from learning without her having to say a word, because for me that's the strongest.
That's the learning.
That's the learning.
That's the learning.
You know, so I think that is what it is. That's how I learned to be who I am, and to strive and to work hard and to be passionate and to be strong and bold. And I hope that I can give her that she just has to watch and be inspired by that.
When Zoe, your child, was born, obviously you're becoming a mother without your mother. Right? So, and you, there's a certain part of you, a very big part, that's like, oh man, I wish my mom was here.
Yeah.
Why do you wish she was there? What specific thing did you want from her?
There's a couple of things. I mean, first of all, my mom was a nurse.
Oh, hey.
So I used to say to her, even when she was alive, that you have to be there on the day I give birth, because I don't want people to mess anything up. You have to be there. You've done it for a while, so please just be there. And she promised me she'd be there. And I know she was in the room with me. I believe it. But I think I needed a good meal, you know, like that home-cooked meal, and for the house to just have that fragrance of like home.
Of ugogo.
Yes,
Yeah,
mama.
ugogo,
Yes,
mama,
yes,
I
yes,
hear
absolutely. I was craving her food, and I think just that support, because having a child is like, you wake up the next day and you went from, I'm a mom, you know? So just that support. And I'm away from my family. I'm in Johannesburg. Majority of my family is in Kimberley. So it was very, very challenging. And it continues to be, because everything you achieve, or every hardship you experience, you wish your mom was there. That's like, I look at my daughter, the first thing, I mean, she loves her dad. But if anything happens, it's mom.
She looks
you
for
know,
you.
and it's the same even as adults. You just want your mom. You know, so it's challenging, and it continues to be challenging.
And also, once again, without her saying anything, you know that if she was around, you would see, you would see it in her eyes if you are doing a good job as a mother.
Yes.
You know?
I would know.
You would definitely
I would
know.
I absolutely would.
And just that, do you not have like aunts and sisters?
I do. I've got a younger sister.
Yeah, okay.
But she's my younger sister.
I was about to say.
You know, my older brother also passed. But I've got aunts. My mom has 3 more sisters. One is in Cape Town, 2 in Kimberley.
Okay.
I've got aunts here, my dad's cousins that are here, and they've been very supportive. I couldn't have done it without them. And then I've got an incredible nanny. What would we do without nannies? Like,
my nanny can have my entire house.
like
she wakes up and she says, I've decided I want this house. I'll be like, well, okay.
No,
then.
honestly, so, you know, and I know that there are people who struggle with this, because, you know, some people are not as lucky, or and they really struggle to find the right person. But the good nannies don't get credit.
Yeah.
They do not get credit.
Because the horror stories are nice. Like, oh, she burnt my silk
I don't know about them being nice, but yeah, it's like, wow, she did that, you know? And then I don't have any stories to tell. I'm always just like, no, mine actually came back after Easter, so.
she was there before I woke up, actually.
Yeah, so I don't have any stories to tell. But, you know, they don't get enough credit, seriously. So I couldn't have done it without her as well. And then, you know, I've got my mom-in-law, who's incredible.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. But how do you, because I feel like you had all these punches and they weren't hitting your body, they were hitting you in your face. Like your mom, then you say your brother, and then your dad. Like, it's all very close to each other. Like, yes, it's spread out, but.
Well, my mom and my brother were 6 months apart. It was, you cannot even begin to, I think, express, you know, but I think that whole learning and having watched her and how she rises and continues to rise after being knocked down, that in itself ministered to me. So I kept getting up. But I think every now and then you have to just touch base with yourself and go, am I okay? You know, do I need to see somebody? Because maybe I'm just, and that's what acting has helped me do. It's really helped me to start examining all those feelings and all those experiences that I've actually just swept under the rug all these years. You know, so it's so important.
So when you ask yourself, am I okay? And the answer is no, what's the next step?
Then I do what I must do. If I need to cry, you know, if I need to scream, if I need to get away. I love driving, by the way. I hate flying. Okay. So whenever I can drive to Kimberley, I'm more than happy. 4 or 5 hour drive. If I can do it by myself, even better. Okay. You know? So it's a great opportunity for me to just listen to myself, speak to myself, spend time with me, you know, and just touch base with myself. So even preparing for roles and just preparing, you know, my body, my mind, my spirit, everything that needs to be prepared, you do find sometimes that, hey, okay, maybe I'm not okay. Maybe that thing, I never quite dealt with it. You know?
But you have a very strong sense of self that you can ask yourself, am I okay? And you're okay with the fact that the answer can be no, and then things must be done to make it yes. Right?
It hasn't always been the case. Okay. That's why I'm saying my acting has helped me, because it has forced me to start feeling and actually experiencing all of those emotions, because I need to sometimes portray them as a character or you know, express them. So it's helped me to really just get in touch with me and go, okay, I didn't know that was an issue. Or I knew it was an issue, but I wasn't ready to deal with it, and now I'm ready. You know, so it's loss is hard.
Yes.
Loss is very hard. Yeah.
So you just said something that reminded me of an interview I did with Terrence Howard very long ago.
Yes.
And he said to me, marriages in Hollywood, this was his theory, and he's full of theories, that man, I swear. He's like, marriages in Hollywood, marriages in acting fail a lot, because when something happens to you in real life, instead of you experiencing it, you take it and you internalize it, saving it for the time you can use it in a role. So now, if you and your wife are going through something, you're not there, your real wife now, you're not there emotionally for it.
Right.
Because you're like, ooh, I'm gonna save this for Empire. You know, I'm gonna save this for something else. Right?
That is deep.
And then it's like, and so you know, you, as an actor, you're never fully available. Yeah. Because you're just storing all this like energy and emotion to let it out.
I think it's been the opposite. I think it's been the opposite for me. I've always internalized, always. That's just who I am. But now I'm actually consciously choosing to express and to feel and to get in touch with all these emotions and to try them out before I actually try them out. Yeah, you know. So for me, I actually enjoy feeling now, and I've become aware of my sensitivities and what I like and what I don't like. And so I think for me it's been the opposite. I prefer to experience it fully and to actually feel it.
Because if you know what it looks like, you know what it will look like.
Absolutely. And if I know what it feels like, and if I know, you know, how it makes me feel and how I respond to it, and not necessarily that the next character is going to be exactly like you, but it's just something to be, I've become so aware of my feelings, of me, of, you know, I'm in touch with myself. And I think it also comes with getting older. Yeah. You know, the 30s are the best time. My 20s are like,
best.
What happened?
What was I doing there?
What was I doing? What was I thinking? Yeah. So I'm having a lot of fun. I feel like I've grown a bit and I've matured. So I'm enjoying my 30s.
I feel like we came here to just talk to Gail and we're just learning. Are you not learning? After the break, we're talking more family, we're talking more losses, everything that she suffered, and we're talking about Habo. Come right back. We're coming to you live from Stain City with Gail. So did you listen to TKzee when you were growing up?
Yes, I had a brother, so obviously, you know, my brother and his friends and my cousins, they all listened to TKzee.
And you were just like out there, guys, laugh,
yeah, I was just, you know, listening to, my brother loved kwaito. So I knew all the songs, I know all the tracks, and I think it was very awkward for some of my family members when I finally was like, okay, so I'm getting married. Yeah.
They're like, oh, TKzee, oh, TK.
Yeah.
But how did he approach you? Because I remember running into you guys like at Arts on Main. And then I was
Yes.
like, oh, there's Kabelo. Oh, there's Gail.
Main.
Yeah, long
That
ago.
must have been our first date.
Really?
I think
you
it
guys were
must have
drinking like clear juices.
Were we
something.
sitting by the bar?
Yes, by the bar
That
upstairs.
was the first date.
Really?
That was like the very first date. So you have known longer than everyone else.
And you guys were
Yeah.
like, you were wearing jean to jean, and he was wearing, yeah, and
I
he
don't
was,
even remember
and
what
he
I was
wearing
wearing.
like jeans and a white t-shirt.
Wow,
So I
you've
woke
got a
up and I was
good
like,
memory.
oh, there's Kabelo. Oh, there's Gail. I was like,
Yeah,
wait,
that was-
there's Kabelo and Gail.
That was our very first date.
But then to me, I
literally.
was like, oh my word, I would have never, but yes,
Yeah,
it is.
really.
It is cute. It works.
No, I can't believe it. Like, and I was trying to keep everything hush hush. So, I mean, yeah, then you go to Arts and Main, great. But then you saw us. I can't believe it. First date. Yeah,
Yes.
that was the very
was like,
first date. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, we thought we were keeping a secret, but anyway, it was just.
But I mean, it's not like I went around telling everybody. I
No,
was
of
just like,
course.
well,
Like just-
whatever they're doing then. That's them.
Yeah.
How did he approach you? How did he ask you to Arts and Main?
Yeah, okay, so this is something awkward to talk about because we never talk about it. But, you know, at least we've been married for 4 years now. So
Now you can.
Now we can sort of, yeah, not jinx anything. But a friend of mine, a mutual friend of ours,
Yeah.
So he used to have like a home cell at his house
Okay.
for people in the industry, in the entertainment industry.
Oh,
Get
nice.
together and just encourage one another weekly, you know, for
Oh,
the
that
week.
is
And like,
amazing.
yeah, great, what are you doing? And okay, and encourage and just everyone share their stories. This happened to me, please help and whatever. So it was a great platform. So we had one of those and a friend of mine invited me to this. And I was like, yeah, but I already have one of those. And I go all the way to the other side of town, but I'm okay. I don't have to go to 2 a week. Like, no, please come, you know. So eventually I decide, okay, fine, I'll go. That's why sometimes he says, I was home delivered. Like, my wife was home delivered. Like, oh, really?
Oh,
So because he had it
like
at his
a
house.
Russian mail order bride.
Yep, one of those, you know. So I showed up and I was in part of the home group for a couple of weeks. And, you know, that's first of all how he got my number, because then he'd send out notifications. This is what's happening this time. And that's how we met. And he called me once and asked me on a date.
And then
that was it. Yeah, that was it. So it was awkward because I still had to come to home group and pretend like nothing's happening.
And then you're like, you know,
Yeah, let's
peace
all
be
pray.
with you, brother.
Yeah, let's pray. You know, and then leave when everyone leaves and pretend like, and then yeah.
And then you guys leave in 2 different
Yeah,
cars.
yeah,
and then
yeah. Well, it was
he
at his
like-
house, so I'm like, okay, bye, everyone, bye.
And then you go around the block and
U-turn, you know, go fill up my car, U-turn, back, yeah.
buy milk, buy
all of that, you
thing,
know,
and then
or
you-
just eat all the leftovers, because, you know, we all used to actually bring something, like bring
wow.
some tea or juice or whatever. So, yeah, that's...
So when did you guys let the cat out the bag?
Pretty much when we got married. We've always, you know, we've just always felt it was important to protect the relationship and not allow outside influences to influence us, you know. So we wanted to protect that, and we both wanted to be sure that this is what we both wanted. And, you know, we went through like premarital counseling before. So until I think the premarital counseling happened, you're not sure who you're marrying. So it's like, let's first make sure this actually is going to work, you know. So and then the traditional side of things started, and it's really only when we got married that we were like, okay, it's official.
And wasn't there a little fear in you, because I mean you are Gail and he is Kabelo, that when you did get married, because when I found out, okay, they're getting married, I was like, oh, please can it not be like one commercial big thing where everyone is there and everyone is famous?
Oh,
and
goodness.
how did you make sure that you kept it like to you guys? Because I don't think I've even seen pictures of it.
Yeah, well, there was like 1 or 2 pictures that leaked, but we, first of all, it was not even in Kimberley. It was in Hartswater, which is like 100 kilometers out of Kimberley.
Who?
Hartswater, yes. So I think people were already like, we're not going to Hartswater.
Sunday World
It's
was
not
like,
out there.
we're not going to Hartswater
Yeah.
for nothing.
So I mean, we didn't make the date public, or we didn't really publicize it, and we turned down, you know, offers to televise it or to be on any cover, and it's only because we were getting married for us. It was, and we always wanted to protect that, you know, and we share so much of our lives in the public that what you can keep to yourself, you try and keep to yourself, and especially with family there, my grandparents and everybody, you just wanted it to be real.
And
it
about the
was-
family,
and
because
about-
once it gets
yeah,
open, then it's about
absolutely,
everything
Yeah,
else.
so we actually enjoyed it, and it was nice. Hartswater was amazing.
So there's a book you say you read in high school, and you're like, The Pursuit of Purpose.
Yes.
So you've always been a religious person, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
I've always been religious.
So it wasn't, you didn't like become religious because your husband is like religious?
No,
So it was a
no.
proper meeting
I think
of
it was,
minds.
yeah. I mean, first of all, the home group that I went to was, you know, religious in a way, or spiritual, you know, is a better word. But I've always been religious. I grew up religious. I grew up Anglican, and my mom has always, you know, my parents they raised us that way, just to believe and to have faith. So that's always been me. So I think the mix, it was perfect.
And what change did you see in him as a boyfriend, him as a husband, and then him as a father?
Oh, wow. I mean, boyfriend is like boyfriend, you know.
Just a person.
It's a boyfriend. And then you start really dating the person and getting to know them. And then they become your husband, and then you can't run away from the habits. You're like, okay, this is it. And, you know, this is marriage and let's do this, you know, and then they become a dad. I think he's such an incredible father. He really is. And I've seen him become softer and just, I mean, Zoe's got him wrapped around her little finger, like literally. So she is just the apple of her eye. And I've just seen him grow and just, he's a great father. He really is.
You sing, he's a musician. Why do we not have a double CD?
Double? Well, because, you know, we've got Beyonce and Jay-Z doing that. That's enough for us. You know?
Come on.
I don't know. I think it has to make sense. I think it's going to happen when it makes sense. I don't want to force it. He doesn't want to force it. It doesn't feel natural.
Aren't you guys like, you know, maybe when you're cooking and there's a song playing in the Chapet Duet, maybe what's that song by Marvin Gaye and you're all I need to get by. Come on.
That's like,
just that, you know?
That's like me coming home as an actress and going, so let's play out the scene, shall we? You know, I mean, it's exactly the same. It's work for him. I mean, we sing, but we don't necessarily like compose right then and there. Zoe helps us compose because she loves music, but other than that, no, actually, no. I think I don't know if it'll ever happen. If it does, it'll be because, it just happened and we didn't plan it.
But I mean, it's not out of the question.
No, it's not out of the question totally. If it happens, it'll happen. And if it doesn't, it's also okay.
Okay, speaking of music, you guys, let's say you guys at a concert, you will decide who the artist is, right?
Okay.
You're at a concert, you with your man.
Yeah.
And the artist comes and puts a microphone in front of Kabelo and starts the song and then gives him the mic. And Kabelo sings the entire song word for word until the end.
Yes.
What's that song?
That he would sing word for word?
From start to end. And it can't be a TKzee song.
No, it's not a TKzee song. It's a rap song. I have to remember who the artist is. But you know, I'm in the mix. I'm in love with two women.
So mix a lot. I think I can't escape this life that I'm living. I'm in the love.
I mean, if I have to name one. But I mean, he loves Lauryn Hill as well. So, but that's the one that comes to mind immediately.
And well, he's probably talking about you and Zoe.
Well, I hope so. Better be.
This is so much fun, and it's almost time for us to say goodbye to the lovely Gail. So do come back for the last and final break. Last Friday, we announced our weekly winner, and now we've got another e-gift card up for grabs, courtesy of At Home. Get to Real Talk on 3 on Twitter for all the details of how you can win. We'll be back for the last time. Don't go away. All right, so we're back for the last time with Gail Mabalane, and Twitter is having us for not knowing that it's the Lost Boys.
Yeah, Lost Boys. Maybe I intentionally forgot. I mean, but yeah, okay, I get it. Lost Boys. I won't forget.
It's not Sir Mix-a-Lot. Apparently, Sir Mix-a-Lot is the one who likes big rear ends, and he cannot lie about it. Lost Boys is the one that your husband would rap the entire song to.
Yes.
We apologize. We are also the Lost Girls.
Yes,
but,
we are.
But now we're found.
Yes, we are.
Thank you for that. So I remember I was at a Destiny breakfast with you.
Yes.
And you had said that you make time, you schedule time in for yourself. Now, I mean, being a businesswoman, you're an actress and you're a philanthropist. You know, do you still stick to that, a weekly time with Gail?
Absolutely. And now that my daughter's getting older, and she's sleeping through the night. Ooh. I do that every morning. You know, I wake up a little bit earlier than everyone, and and now it's no longer weekly. Now it's like a daily thing, because sometimes, you know, weekly can take longer, but when I actually do like a daily, little bit every day, and I'm loving it. I love myself. I love spending time with me.
So let's talk about there's this range, your bathing range.
Yes.
Because I was listening to you speak about it. I was watching this clip, and I was just like, wow, you know, because bathing is such a you time thing.
Yes.
And you're like there.
Yes.
And you're moisturizing.
Yes.
And you're becoming one with yourself. Was that something that you learned from your mom as well? Because like, okay.
Yes, I learned that from my mom.
Because I looked at it, I was like, this is an older woman thing.
I learned that from my mom and everything. And I think, you know, even when I was expecting, I was so obsessed with like oiling myself all the time, because you're like, where I can avoid an extra, I've already got enough stretch marks, where I can avoid more, I'll try. I'm going to moisturize. And I learned that from my mom, from a young age.
So that's why, because I mean, they always say if you're going to start a business, start something that speaks to you.
Yeah, that you love.
And so that's why you did that.
Yeah.
So what's it called? Where are we getting it?
It's called Body Language. It's available online. And, you know, business is hard. Everybody's starting a business, but nobody tells you how hard it is to run a business. But that is the exciting part. It's that you don't know how it's going to end. So you just, every day you wake up and you give a little bit more and you invest a little bit more. And it's helped me grow and learn things about myself that I didn't know, and forced me to learn and expose myself to, you know, business. And it's hard, but, you know, the product is available online.
Body language. What a nice name for it, because you're putting it on your body.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, you can tell so much from somebody's body language. You can tell so much about them from their body language. And, you know, and that's also like what inspires me to speak to young women and to encourage and empower young women through just becoming aware of who they are and how they present themselves to the world.
So you do talks, because I know you're into a lot of philanthropy. Is that part of like talks and just to speak to women? And
yes, and it's helped me, and that's why I say beauty pageants have contributed to who I am, because body language, you know, beauty pageants, confidence, you can tell so much about a person by just watching them.
You're very good at keeping quiet until something happens. Because even when we're having this breakfast, you were about to go into the road and you wouldn't say anything. But all you say, like, I'm playing two roles at the same time. And I was just like, and then, because I'm like, are you playing twins? And you were like, no. And I'm like, then how are you playing two roles at the same time in one show if you're not playing twins? But I mean, that was you acting and singing.
Yes.
And I know you were in a dance movie once upon a time.
Yes.
So you are a triple threat, basically.
I'm dancing. I mean, I wouldn't put it out there.
You're not there.
No, I'm not there. I can probably pretend that I can do it. I can act as though I can. But yes. But I wouldn't. No. My sister takes the cup when it comes to that.
When it comes to that.
Yeah. No.
So what's next? What are you planning? What's the big? Because I know now you're not gonna say nothing, but
I'm not gonna
allude again, like two roles but not twins. Do it.
I just, you know, I made a decision at the beginning of this year to challenge myself with the kind of roles I take on, and, you know, the kind of roles I play, and just the prep and everything that has to do with just bringing my craft on screen. And so I'm excited about the possibilities and the opportunities that have been put on the table. And all I can say is this is going to be a good year. And I'll be back. I'll be back to talk about it.
Oh,
I promise.
will you?
Yes.
Is there a movie in there? You can call me the Oracle. Oh, okay, I look forward to that, because South Africa's movie industry is like doing this.
It's amazing, I think. And even not only movies, even television shows. It's we're really taking it a couple of notches up, so I'm excited.
Will you ever run a marathon?
I would. I was hoping, my husband's running his 10th Comrades this year. I was hoping to run with him, but, you know, it's not just arriving and running the Comrades.
Girl, it's every morning.
It's the preparation.
It's eating lean chicken.
It's a lot of running. Exactly, it's eating.
But I told you this, that every time I think of you and Kabelo, I'm like, they have one car, Gail drives the car and Kabelo runs. I was like, well, I'm going to the airport.
No. I mean, it's a lot of prep, and I've seen it with him, that it's a lot of commitment. It's not just waking up and running 90 kilometers. It's a lot of commitment. I'm not ready, but I'd love to run a marathon.
And
I ran my first. I ran my first Soweto half marathon. I enjoyed it, but 42. Never mind 90. It's I don't know.
Yeah, hey. 90 is like typical South Africans.
Look, I mean, I ran my first marathon. If you think of it, I gave birth. I ran 3 marathons in one day. That's like 10 marathons in one day. So I'm a couple of steps ahead of him, actually.
Okay.
I've run more marathons than him.
So, In closing, one of your favorite movies is My Best Friend's Wedding.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Julia Roberts
My
or
goodness.
Cameron Diaz? Let's say there's a remake and they say you must play one of the roles in My Best Friend's Wedding. Are you playing Julia Roberts or are you playing Cameron Diaz?
I'm playing. I think to challenge me, I think Julia Roberts.
Okay.
But I like both of them. I like both characters. So I don't know. Can't I play both?
Again.
Yeah, you know, just different wig and everything. Julia Roberts.
Okay, and then who's playing the other one?
Ish, yeah, you see.
Cast quickly, we've got 20 seconds.
I don't know.
Pick someone.
I'd love to play alongside Julia Roberts.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you taking
I'll
her
take
role
that,
and then she
yeah.
must flow across.
Yeah.
Okay, then
Yeah.
that's it.
Yes.
That's all
I can be creme brulee.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank
to
you.
join us. You'll be back when you tell us about your movie
Yes,
then.
thank you for having me.
That's all we have time for today. Thank you so much to my guest, Gail Mabalane, for stopping by to spend some time with us, and to you, our loyal viewers at home, and of course our Twitter family, Lost Boys. Yalla, let's bye.